least you're set in Bradford. Mr. Chowdhury, you were educated in Britain. Do you regard yourself as British?
No, I regard myself as Muslim who is living in Britain.
And if your right to live in Britain, as you would see, it was threatened because you're part of an organisation which might pose a threat, how would you feel about that?
It wouldn't make any difference to me because as a Muslim, what I do as a matter of divine obligation. So if I'm calling society to Islam, or if I'm supporting my Muslim brothers and sisters who are being murdered in Sudan or in Afghanistan, then I'm not going to stop because the government says that there's a law which says that it outlaws that particular action, because I do it in response to what the Quran says and what the Messenger Muhammad says. And I think you'll find that just as President Clinton miscalculated badly when he bombed those two countries, it united most of the Muslim world against the Americans, even those moderate Muslims. I think you'll find that Tony Blair has miscalculated if he thinks that he can bring in legislation which can stop the Muslims supporting the jihad in Kashmir, the jihad in Kosovo, the jihad in Palestine, and the jihad against the military presence of the Americans in the Middle East. I think you'll find that mosques up and down the country will continue to collect funds for those causes.
Right. Well, I'd like to bring now Aki Nawaz in now, who has been playing in Dublin. He's a member of the band Fundamental. Aki, how do you regard yourself? Do you have any tension between the idea that you're British and you're Muslim?
I don't really think I want to be British. I've asked many times, what does it mean to be British? I just, you know, the British, when they were in India or around different parts of the world, they never said, oh, we're African. I don't see why I should be kind of asked to be British, or if I say I'm not British, why I'm not accepted. I think that's just part of this kind of, you know, people are trying to beat us into submission, and they want to mould us into certain ways, and if we're not them ways, they don't accept us. But this has been going on so long now. Frankly, I mean, I've had enough. You know, I personally have had enough.
But when you say you've had enough, though, what are you going to do?
Enough of all that, you know. I'm very fortunate that we actually travel around, and for the last 5 or 6 years we've been meeting young people of all different kinds of faiths, and people, especially Muslims, young people are just they're so stressed out with the demonisation that's going on and the imbalance. And, you know, I've noticed throughout all this debate you've always mentioned, you know, Islamic extremism and violence linked to Islam, and it's like, you know, what about the violence that America commits day in, day out with their economic kind of, you know, policies that are going on everywhere around the world, you know, irrespective of if it's Muslim countries.
Well, let's talk about Africa. Yeah, I'd like to bring in Hosa now, who hasn't had a chance to be in for a minute. Talking about identity. When the young woman in Bradford said that she felt that she was both part of Britain but Muslim, she felt British in nationality but Muslim in way of life. Do you think that coexistence is quite a positive thing?
I think with the movement towards globalization on different levels, inevitably there will be people who are British citizens, American citizens, but they come from a culture, many different cultures, not just Muslims, come from cultures which are thousands of years old. Now, someone who's born in Britain or who's come here at a young age and has become British and is accustomed to the British way of life, that is something that becomes ingrained in them. But it will take equivalently thousands of years for it to become a part of their identity. For example, like Islam is a part of their identity. I've been here since the age of 8, and there is no doubt in my mind that I'm Iranian. There's no doubt in my mind that I'm Muslim. And there's also no doubt in my mind that I carry a British passport. So this is, I think we shouldn't try to...
But you're happy with that kind of blend and kind of rich difference and rich mix in your life?
I'm happy with that blend for the time being, but you know what would make me much happier is to be able to walk through British immigration with an Iranian passport and not have everybody go into a flurry for about half an hour trying to figure out, you know, whether I'm a terrorist or whether I'm an Iranian Muslim woman who's entering the country, you know, to shop and to have a good time for 2 weeks, whatever.
Well, Mr. Chowdhury, the next generation of Muslims who's coming up, we were talking about the fact that people assume an identity if they arrive at a young age and perhaps go through schooling. Do you want young Muslim children to be educated with children of other cultures, the dominant culture being the Western culture in Britain, or do you want a separation?
I think the idea of a multicultural society is a fallacy to begin with, because what you're talking about many different cultures being present at the same time, but you're talking about a dominant culture which enforces its national curriculum and its culture upon all of the others. So really, we're talking about one culture which is being enforced upon all the others. What I'd like to see is a healthy forum of debate between the different cultures, the different ideologies within society. Let the Muslims carry their thoughts and ideas, let them propagate them, let them have open debate on television, on the radio. Let's see if there is really an alternative to the capitalist or the communist way of life.
So you would like Islam to be the law of and the way of life of Britain?
Of course. I think that Islam has something superior, something much better than what this society has to offer. And I think you'll find that the vast majority of the people, in fact, in the West, they're finding that capitalism is not offering them what they need. It's not offering them the basic necessities, and communism has failed. So they're looking for an alternative, and we've got an alternative, really, if you think about it, which was able to provide the basic necessities and provide tranquility for over 1,300 years.
Well,
I think it's worth looking at.
Aki, if I can come back to you, is that something you would agree with, that you think that Britain would be better off as an Islamic state?
Oh, God, it's a very complex question. No, I think that we can all exist. I actually believe from my heart that we can exist together. As long as we start getting rid of this propaganda and misinformation. You know, I've got no problem, like I've said, with anybody. And you know, religions, Islam and Christianity and Judaism, they've all existed together in harmony historically. I just think that there's just this recent period of demonization that is dividing people.
Would you be happy living in an Islamic state?
I don't know, because I don't know if an Islamic state exists in its pure form at the moment in the world. And
would you be happy living under the Taliban?
Well, I think I'd have to go there and then give you an answer, because I don't really know, because I don't really believe everything that I'm told about what the Taliban's about. I need to go there, I need to experience it, I need to see, I need to meet people who have different schools of thought.
Jim Chowdhury,
yes, I'd just like to come in there. There's something I think which we're missing here. No country in the world is implementing Islam. Whether you're talking about Taliban, whether you're talking about Sudan, whether you're talking about Saudi Arabia, all of those regimes are not implementing Islam in its entirety. Otherwise, you wouldn't have groups such as Al-Muhajirun, such as Minhaj al-Quran, those other organizations working for a pan-Islamic state or an Islamic state. I think what we want to do is we want to investigate Islam to see how it was able to provide and look after the needs of the people for over 1,000 years, and how it protected the honor, the life, the dignity of the people.
I'm afraid I'm going to have to stop you there now. I'm afraid we've run right out of time.